You're alive. Oh, hold on. I guess I got to do this before we go. Okay, we're live. Here we go, everybody. The
I'm
Can-Am
in.
Connection is here. I'm one of the hosts of the four hosts, Talk with Thunder. My man, Nathan Williamson, always in the house, repping
I'm in
East
Missouri.
West as always.
I'm in
What's up, buddy?
Missouri. I'm in Missouri right now. I'm not in Texas. I'm not at home.
Oh, okay. So
Up
how is
visiting.
Missouri? How is the state right now with knowing that the Chiefs are not in the playoffs? It's like it's
Eh,
weird, ain't it?
you get Missouri's kind of a melting pot because you're close to Colorado. Iowa's
Mhm.
right there. Indiana's right there. So you got a lot of fans from everywhere. Chicago's right there. Illinois. So you get a little bit of everybody here. You know.
It's just
Now that the
weird.
Rams are and now that the Rams are no longer in St. Louis, it changes things too, right? Because the Rams are here for a long time. So there's a lot of people that were Rams fans that
Mhm.
are still Rams fans, which you can't blame them. Their team,
Yeah,
it's not their fault their team moved.
yeah. I guess to the owner
So
stuff.
yeah. And the market value. But St. Louis is a good market. I mean, think about it. You got the Blues are there, you got the Cardinals. I mean, think about it. Missouri was one of the few places, especially for being a smaller state, that had two football teams and two baseball teams. You had one in
And by
Kansas
the way,
City. You had the Royals and the Chiefs, and then the Rams and the Cardinals.
little history note before we kick this show off. The first,
World's Fair.
don't forget the Olympics. It wasn't
Hmm.
L.A. The first one in the United States was in St. Louis, 1904. There's your
That's when the
history note.
first. That's also when the first World's Fair was in St. Louis as well.
There you go. Bob Anderson,
Also,
the
also the
Drew.
world's also the world's largest man-made arch.
See, and Brian Boussier, they're all in the house. So over the weekend, what happened? We had some two
We
matches
had
that kind
s-
of,
well, we had Ingin Terzi versus Artur Makarov in Istanbul,
and I'm gonna let you
and
lead that one off.
I mean Ingin looked good. Ingin looked very good. I think it was an 80-kilo weight. I think that's what they agreed to. I think Ingin had to lose some weight. But man, he looked very, very, very good against Archer. He beat him 3-0.
Egan had to lay
And
off that ice cream, huh?
yeah. But for me, like it's not so much that Ingen beat it's not so much, hey, this was Ingen's retirement match, he went out on top. For me, it's like, what are the implications of that moving forward with East versus West? Because that's your 77-kilo champ that just got beat by Ingen.
Right.
Convincingly, well, very convincingly. So so now what do you do if you're EBW? I mean, you just had Mindy dominate Prokopchik
Hmm.
and want Makarov, but Makarov just pulled Ingen and lost, and now he's supposed to pull Svetlana Gashevsky. What happens if he loses that?
Yes. Yeah. What do you do?
There's a lot of possible stuff moving forward that could throw a lot of wrenches in what you're going to do with Archer moving forward. And I don't know that it's all good questions.
Now, answer me this: if you know, was this more like an exhibition match because this is supposed to be Ingen's retirement match, correct?
Yeah, I'm assuming it was more of an exhibition match. I mean, there was actual referees from Turkey there and everything else. It was a legit match. But for me, like, congratulations to Ingen. I mean, we all know Ingen's an amazing arm wrestler, has been for a long time. Uh, well, that's Wyatt. That's complicated there, buddy. With all of them, if we get into
Yeah.
EVW. There's a lot of political stuff that unfortunately has to be resolved first before they're going to see Zoloev's and Svetan,
Not the P
unfortunately.
word. Not the P word.
Yeah.
Political.
Yeah, but that's been happening for years though. Plus everybody's got to remember Svetan did go to IFA and compete. So like
Yeah.
you have that as well. But for me, man, it raises more questions than anything else, right? So I don't know. We'll see what Robert and Dexter do moving forward with this.
Because I guess now that he lost to Ingen, does it really
Hmm.
have any bearing? Because that match to me was more for Ingen more than you know
Well, yeah, but okay, let's say you throw Archer in against Mindy in February. You got Archer coming off a loss. So arguably, I mean, granted it wasn't at 77 kilos, but
Mhm.
it still tarnishes your champion, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
in my opinion.
those are things you got to be careful about, especially when you make these matches and that kind of stuff. So, but kudos to him. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
Ingen,
big win.
congrats.
Big win for Ingen, especially, after the last one being up 2-0. He was up 2-0 before he tore his pec against Archer. So for him to come back and, you know, right that wrong, so to speak, I mean, it's a good way to go out if that's his last match.
Ooh, look at this one. When Minda beats Arthur, then we should have Mindy versus Ingen. Does Ingen even want to? I thought that was Ingen's swan song, or like, hey, you know what? Because honestly, ever since his relationship with East versus West has kind of fizzled out.
I do know for a fact though that there was an olive branch left if Ingen ever wanted to compete at East versus West.
There it is. There it is.
Like I do know that was
Yes, English pronation is ridiculous. Training pronation with that little pillow on the side,
so
on the back of the hand.
so Wyatt, let me give you something. I actually do the same thing. We call it I call it the Ingen roll, where you put it. So what I do, it's not a pillow. The best way I found to make them is take up an old dish towel that you just don't care about, like a wash rag, and roll it long ways, and then wrap a bunch of athletic tape around it. Make it firm. You don't want it super soft. Um, I'll bet you it cuts your pronation lifts by 2/3 when you start it.
So
It
tell
makes that
everybody
much of
out
a
there
difference.
the purpose of that. Why are they
So
doing that? Why do
so
you do
so
that?
when you're doing pronation, here I'll give you an example. So if I'm doing a pronation lift and it's here, right? Like
Hmm.
everything is flat on the wrist. But if I add, that inch, it's now moved the weight an inch further off my arm. So it's making it harder and pushing it further away. So you're actually having to pronate. So it works like a lever and a fulcrum, right? The further you put something out on like a seesaw, the further
Hmm.
it is out, the closer it is in, the easier it is to move. The further it is out, the harder it is to move.
Right.
So it's increasing the weight further out, and I absolutely love it. Like I do those. Well, I mean, every time Giannis programs and we do them, but there's times where I just want to do pronation work with back pressure, and I'll do it with that just to work. It works really good for kicking out the bottom too, like working pronation to the bottom of the hand. So, uh,
See, Tamara agrees with that. See, it's just it's little stuff like that, and to me, I've always found why one of the reasons why this sport is great because there is no one way to
no,
train, right? There is no one way. I mean, there's different variations to train, and that depends on what your style is. If you're
hundred
inside
percent.
puller, outside puller, press puller, whatever, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
So for me, like I don't do it through the hand. Like I do three forms of pronation. I do, over the thumb, and around the wrist. I only do the added pronation when it's around the thumb because it's easier to lodge it in there. That's just the
Mhm.
easiest way you'll find. But it also not only doing that, but it's also putting increased pressure on the thumb pad. So like everybody can see, like this thumb pad's tiny, whereas this one is just so it's causing me to have to drive more through the thumb as well.
Right.
Uh, I would 100 out of 10 recommend everybody try it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Start with something light, like okay, so if you can do, and like I know everybody loves to do the Devon pronation lift. I'm not a fan of it personally. It doesn't do anything for the style at which I pull. But like the way I do it is I get my lock with a loading pin with weight on, and I lean over, so I'm parallel to the floor while keeping the lock engaged, and that's when I lift it.
Right.
Try that. Let's say you do 50 pounds. I'll bet at 25 pounds you're shaking.
Yeah. And here's the thing. The best advice I've heard, I think John Brezint gave it where he says, you got to find out what works best for you.
100%.
I mean, I've tried all these other styles and trained it. And then, when push came to shove, it just didn't work. And
Yeah.
maybe because I didn't give it enough time, but then I also realized that, okay, my body structure is not built like theirs. So it was like, okay, that doesn't work.
Well, great
So
example. Great example, Jody. You've asked me how I do certain things, and I'm like, well, this is how I do it. Try it. And you tried it, and you're like, oh, that I can see where that works for you, but it's not going to work
right.
for me.
Yeah. I mean, it is not that what you're telling me is wrong. It's just
Yep.
some of the stuff that doesn't work for me, like I stopped doing pronation lift because it would hurt my wrist.
Yep.
It
Fair
would
enough.
just hurt my wrist.
Fair enough.
What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
Oh, we're just we were finishing up talking about Ingen's
Ingen
last
beating
match, and then we
Archer.
kind of moved on to pronation, that kind of stuff. Did you catch it?
Yeah,
What were your
Shocking.
thoughts on that?
I don't know. Seemed off.
Because I know what you
I
want to
know.
talk about.
I mean, I don't know. Was he just that much stronger? Is Arthur not training? I don't know. There's a lot of unknowns there.
No, for me, it's like, it was a bigger weight. Ingen was heavier this time than the last match.
What were their weights? They look.
No,
Damn, Arthur looked bigger.
Archer's usually, honestly, man, like every time been around her, he's only like 75 kilos, 74, 75 kilos. I think Ingen come down to 80 for the match.
Okay.
Was
But
there a fake match?
No, but what I was telling Jody was like, what implications does this have moving forward? Because now you had the champion get 3-0'd by Ingen. Now he's going to pull Sveton. And then, like, let's say he loses both of those and you throw him in with Mindy. Like, what does that do?
I mean, yeah. So he's pulling Sveton next.
March in Russia.
So is he not pulling East versus West at all?
I don't know. Like, I know that's the match they're wanting, but like my thing, even by losing to Ingen, it kind of tarnishes him being the champion a little bit at 77. It puts an asterisk.
Yeah. There's a lot of unknowns there.
Well, I'll
But
tell you what.
let's say they can't get the match done for Vienna for February, which I'm assuming they're probably going to try to get him in before the Sveton match. But if he
And
goes
that's
in,
February 28th, right?
yeah, February 28th. But to me, it's still kind of.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of unknowns there.
Well, I'll tell you what. I know the match Tim wants to talk about, and let's get to it. Robbie Russell and Ryan Belanger. So, what did you guys think of that match?
I didn't see the match.
I saw it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great match. I mean, I thought it was a lot closer than what it came out to be, but I mean, they're both strong ass dudes. I mean, yeah, I was the one that posted on there and said I want Ryan. I hope he wins, just because I want to pull Ryan. Want to pull Ryan for 8 months now. So,
well, let's talk about that for a second. Where did that match take place at? I guess that would be my first question.
I want to say, was it in Virginia or?
Yeah, it was somewhere on the East
Tennessee?
Coast.
It was
it's
near their places, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know why it didn't take place, but
well, because one's from Carolina, one's from Tennessee, so
yeah.
So with you, Tim, I know you want to pull Ryan, and I'm kind of curious to know, where would you want to pull him at? You said in Virginia.
For me?
Yeah, where would you want to pull him at?
Pull him at Arizona State.
I'll pull him anywhere in the world. It don't matter to me. I just really want to pull him. I mean, I felt like Robbie's downfall of the match was he just hit right into Ryan's sweet spot, which may be Robbie's sweet spot too. Maybe just Ryan was stronger in that sweet spot. That's about it. I think that maybe if he would have changed a couple things up, it could have changed a little bit more of the outcome of the match. But maybe just they're both sweet spots. Ryan was stronger that day in that sweet spot. That's about it. I mean, but every match just went into Ryan's wheelhouse, in my opinion. again, not saying that's not Robbie's wheelhouse, and that's if it's your wheelhouse, it's your wheelhouse. You're going to your spot, right?
100%.
But at some point, you would think you felt, unless again we're not pulling right, unless he just felt keep going there, he's gonna finally get it and maybe get the go or something, and so you just live or die by it, right? But I don't know.
I have a question. So the score was 3-1. So how did Robbie win that one round? Because I didn't see the match.
Yep.
Okay.
Elbow foul.
Elbow foul off the get go straight up, and then I think on a restart they went and then called one off the front or something like that.
Okay. I didn't know. Like I said,
Something.
There was a handful of elbow fouls on Bryan, but I think those happened, in my opinion, watching the match. I think those took place because he was like, it seemed like he was in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
Where I would drive, but then it's like, okay, you're driving, but now you're kind of losing. It was a little sloppy, and maybe I shouldn't even use that word. It just seemed like when you're in control, like, okay, now I'm gonna drive. You kind of lost everything that was connection, and then elbow popped off the front, or it popped in the air, or whatever, and then it just seemed like, because both guys are hookers. Let's be real. However, it seemed like Robbie is like going, okay, if that's your go-to and you're down, like at what point do you try something different? And we never saw that. It was more of, I'm gonna die on my sword no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's one of those things where you might just live or die by it, right? Like he must have still felt something was there where he could still win that match. Maybe it's endurance, or holding him to a position where he's just going to keep fouling himself out, like he did in match 2. I mean, who knows?
I mean, we know that Ryan can pull in some very nasty spots. We just have to look at the match between him and Alan Ford. Like,
yep,
there were times like his arm. I was like, that arm has very good chance of snapping, and he held on. So I mean, to me, that was, if you watch the Alan Ford match, if I was Robbie, I'd watch that match and be like, okay, this is the path of least resistance. Like, if you have the ability to top roll him and you can, like, that's probably going to be the easiest way.
But if he doesn't really do that,
top roll. Yeah, I said if you have the ability.
Oh, okay.
Top roll.
Robbie does have a top roll though, so I mean,
climb out of his hand. Yeah,
he didn't try it,
and that's what I don't get. How come he didn't try that? Like, I don't get that. Wyatt says, I know it's already happened a week and a half ago, but maybe he says Justin Bishop looked dominant against Hunter Knobs. So yes, he did. And where does Hunter? I don't think we ever asked this question after that match. Where does Hunter go after this?
I think, and this is no shade on Hunter, but if you put him against an elite level top roller, it's very bad for him. It is. If you put him against a good hook puller, they're gonna have a great war. So
I'd like to see Hunter go back down and wait a little bit and
54
and bang even 60, whatever it is.
65 or something like that.
Why not him and Cody Wood have a match at 65?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree.
Because I know Cody Wood was supposed to have the match with Justin, and unfortunately his uncle passed, and sorry, Justin, that's unfortunate, brother. But I think that's a big ask for Cody Wood too after losing and Arlington. So
there are matches to be made. I like that.
I don't understand why people are still overlooking Joseph.
I'm not. I'm saying, like, for me,
not you guys. I'm just saying in general when you
because Joseph. Go ahead, Sam. Sorry. No, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just saying, like, unless I read the post wrong, correct me if you read it a different way. He's still claiming he's the man at 154 and 176, unless I read it wrong.
No, you read it right. He said, I firmly believe I am the best 154 and 176er in North America.
Wait, who said that?
Cody Wood.
But I don't think he can make 54. And in my opinion, I would like to see it then. Like, because when was the last time you actually truly made 54 and actually was 54? I'd like to see it.
He made 54 for Arlington.
Okay.
I mean, well, I guess he made 54. I don't know. I didn't weigh. I didn't weigh the him in on that match.
For some reason, I thought that was like a 165 match. In my opinion, I think it was.
It might have been. Like I said, I didn't weigh them in. I weighed in a lot of people, but I didn't weigh that match in.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but
Right.
I thought it was like a 165 match, but I don't know.
Okay, you know what? Then you have a fatal 4-way. Fuck it. Do it that way.
Well, my thing is like, why is I'm not discrediting Joseph, but I think if you put Joseph in with Bishop right now, Bishop runs over him. Just stylistically.
I don't know.
Stylistically, it's hard match for Joseph.
Do you make a fatal 4-way? You get Bishop. You get. I know they just pulled Hunter, Cody.
This is where a lot of people overlook this as well. Like, when we talk about those matches, okay, now we're talking about like a 95 guy pulling a 105 guy. That's equivalent to what we're talking about here. That Joseph walks around like 158, 160 and pulls 154.
No,
these guys
don't disagree.
are 180 and pull 176
or 165
on a big cut. And it's been a while since we've seen it. There's really no 165 classes around anymore.
So where would you put, as far as Joseph, who would you like to see him compete against? You say Hunter?
Oh, yeah. Bring Hunter down, have Hunter make 160 pounds or even 154.
But I don't think Hunter can make 160 right now or 154.
Yeah.
Same way, I don't know that Cody Wood can make 154.
What's the lowest class in East versus West right now?
77 kilos, 170.
170. Okay, so I believe that's where he pulled Cody.
It was portrayed as a 70 kilo match.
Okay. I mean, I get it. I could be wrong. I thought it was just the lowest class East versus West.
Because I know Hunter made 77 because he pulled Alan Lowe at 77, and I weighed both of them in.
Which is how much? 165?
77 is 170.
170.
Because 75 is 165.
Yeah. So I mean, Joseph literally has to bulk to pull these people, which is hard when you're that light.
There's some interesting matches for Joseph at 154 against some Europeans.
Well, I guess, how about we say this though? When does Joseph get another call? Because isn't he like 2-0 at East versus West? 3-0. Okay, so
I mean, that one was KOT before it was.
Yeah, it was a transition period, but still, East versus West. No matter how you look at it, is 3-0.
Right. So my question is,
he had a hard fight with Palco. Like, we can't say that was an easy match. That was a good fight. He had the 3-2 win over Cody Wood, and then the last guy he pulled. Why has it got to be a hook puller? Why can't it be a top roller? I mean, we haven't seen him against a true top roller yet either.
Yeah, I would like to see him test him to the max and give him a nice top roller to where he has to contain.
That's one thing I will say. Like, and Laggy, I'm not trying to shit on your comment, buddy, but like, I don't like when people are like, well, let's put him against another hook puller. Well, why? We know they're going to go in a hook. Why can't we put the classic hook versus top roll match and see if he can contain the top roll first?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't like if we tailor making a match to somebody because, oh, this person's a hook puller, they need to pull a hook puller. Why?
Like, I truly would like to see him against Justin at a max weight of 165. I'd like to see it. Well,
Justin doesn't really hook. I mean, he can, but he's not known as a hook puller. So that would be stepstone number one. Because you think you beat Justin, and if he's going to come in top roll, he beats Justin. Then you go, okay, well, then that question's answered. Now let's see what he can do against a European legit top roller.
He pulled Ivan Pertella, and like I think Ivan had taken some time off and was just coming back, and Joseph wiped the floor with him. So now we need to get him with somebody that's a really good 54 guy. Like, hold on, I can give you an idea who I think would be a good one. I don't make the matches. This is just my opinion.
I mean,
Y'all
and
can keep going.
obviously East versus West, when we're speaking there, it's harder to make these matches of a category that's really not there yet because there's limited pullers to make that match, right?
100%.
But right now we got the, what is it, 171 pounds is the class?
170, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we have the 170, and we have that 170 where some people are
What
just.
about, here's a match. Great match. North America. Jeff Hale. Jeff Hale can make 70.
Yeah. I have my, yeah.
But if you're trying not to, go hook for hook, that's basically what you're saying, though, right?
I mean, Jeff
Because
can
Je-
go anywhere.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That was just a thought. I'm like, wait, what about Jeff?
Yeah, Jeff can really go anywhere.
He can, but we know where his bread and butter is.
I mean, and
Yeah.
Jeff top 4 at WAF Worlds. So
I mean, I can tell you right now at 176 pounds, North America, I want to see Luke Kent and Justin Bishop.
Haven't we seen that before?
Yeah, but not in recent years, and they both look really good in Cali.
Yeah.
And it was a good match.
Benji says, guys, we need to brainstorm for a match for Alan Fisher. Either current lightweight or a legend he could pull. He won
That's
over the top
hard.
lightweight. We need to have him on the EVW.
Yeah, that's hard though, man. Like, because we don't know Alan's level. Like, Alan very rarely pulls now. So, I mean, I'm not trying to shit on anybody, but they tried that with Cobra, remember?
Yeah.
And
The
it
legends.
didn't turn out. Yeah, it didn't. It wasn't good, in my opinion.
That's one of those things too, where like, let's stop basing people off what they used to do years ago and just giving them a match. Like, Alan's got to get back out there and do something to get a match. Like, these young bucks are earning their spots and they're traveling and working their asses off.
Yeah.
They need the respect that they deserve. We can't just, geez, Bill Brezink came back. Let's put him up against Levon. Like, we can't be doing this. Like, we got to.
No, I 100%.
If you want to come back because you were the fucking guy for 20 years, come back for like the first year and prove that you're still the fucking guy.
I got a match. I just thought of it. Young guy out of France against, God, why am I drawing a blank? Ethan LeVay. That would be a good match.
Who?
Joseph
Joseph
LeVay's
LeVay?
son, Ethan.
Oh, I didn't know his son was pulling.
His son competed at
I know
WAF
his
Worlds
dad.
this
I didn't know
year.
his son was pulling.
He actually finished higher than his dad at WAF Worlds this year.
Benji says he's been number one in California forever. He hasn't been inactive like Tim is portraying.
He hasn't been. Well, we haven't seen him anywhere though.
What I mean by inactive is like I haven't seen him pull a tournament or a super match in close to a year, if not more. I know he's up in Idaho now. I know he still trains. I talked to him. I know he still trains, but I haven't even seen him. I don't think he pulled Idaho State last year. I mean, they're close to Utah. I haven't seen him really pull anything. I know he trains. Trains. And yeah, being number one, of course. Being number one.
But I guess if I could say something, I guess it's more of, okay, yeah, in California, but where else do you pull aside from California? I guess where it comes down to. Because if you just kind of hang out in one area.
Have him come back down to California and pull Mike Linder down in Cali and get him back in the sport.
Paul Voskin.
Mike Linder's the guy down there right now. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, that's just, we can't be bringing guys out of the woodworks to get these spots. And when these young guys are earning, they're showing up. They're showing up to East versus West tournaments and trying to get a spot on the big card. They're taking super matches around North America. They're traveling to tournaments in North America.
Shit, I'm taking one and all. I'm going to be traveling to Australia for one, hopefully this year. So next year. I mean,
here's one. How much proving does Alan need to do? We got to think at the same At the same time. So
But you got to beat
don't know where he's
somebody.
at.
Yeah, we don't know where he's at. You need to beat somebody of relevancy in North America. Here, let me look it in the hook real quick.
is this
I'm just
going
saying.
back to like what he used to do, or just currently? And I'm like I said, you gotta understand. So Benji, when we say this stuff, we're not, crapping on Al. We're not saying that, But at the same time, it's like the Janet Jackson. What have you done for me lately? Now if you got
No,
into some round robin or something like that, or whatever, and it makes some heads turn, it's like, oh, okay, well, hey,
like I'm
let's
like
give
I'm
this
not
guy a shot.
like Allen, according to this, like the most updated in the hook is not ranked in the 154 class at all, right-handed. You know, so how do you give a guy that hasn't had a match with anybody in the top 20 in North America lately a shot, an opportunity? You can't do it based on what they used to be. Like,
I mean,
because
I'd like to see. I mean, listen, Idaho. People go to Idaho all the time, and like there's guy now. I think Allen's. I mean, I don't know what Allen's walking around now. He's always been below
he's
160.
a he's a 54 guy. Will
Yeah,
always
he's
be
like
one.
165 at max, I would say. But man, you got Idaho State, Oregon, Washington,
There's a lot.
Utah, with all within a 5.5 hour drive. Man, he could have shown up and tested where he's at a tournament style. Like I said, I know Allen. He probably has a great team already up in Idaho, and he probably trains twice a week. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But that's like saying prior to Washington State, we know that Jacob Abbott beat Todd Hutchings last left-handed, so let's put him up against a match. You just can't do that.
Or Storm Chilino. Storm Chilino beat Todd how many years ago at Wall? We can't. But if you throw him into a match right now with Todd, what's going to happen?
Yeah. And Storm's doing it the right way, like we all are. We're going to these events. We're trying to prove that we're up there with these people.
Is that the same Macho Man that jumped on stage in Atlantic City?
No, it's a different one. So Macho Man, just so you know, there's an East Coast version of Macho Man, had the hat with the tassels and all that kind of stuff, and he was at
Is this Aaron?
He hopped. What's that?
Is this Aaron?
Yes.
Where were you at Washington State?
See, there's another one. So here, how about this?
Like I said, we're not shitting on Allen and what he's
100%.
accomplished, right? Like, I think we all like Allen, but they've had they've had 2 Legends matches in 22 events.
Baxter was
And
the
these
other
are
Legends match, wasn't it? Didn't Baxter have one? Yeah.
Yes. But my thing is, like, and I'm not trying to sound like a dick when I say this, but are people going to pay to see Alan Fisher arm wrestle? Is that a draw for your event? Will you make the money off of flying this person out, paying their accommodations, paying them money for the match? Will that bring the asset to your card that it's going to be worth the payoff, right? Because it is this is a business.
My thing is this. Okay, so here, let me ask this question. Maybe this might answer some. I don't know. Maybe. So Benji, hear me out. Guys, hear me out. Chat, hear me out. Is it feasible to put him on that particular card instead of like a Arizona State or a Washington State, and you get him a good match? Does it have to be on the elite stage? Is where I'm getting at.
Well, I'm going to piggyback on the Drew here. Okay, this is perfect. Allen can be a prelim. You're right, and maybe he should. So come to one East versus West, wax everybody in that tournament, and you get on the mainstream, and they'll probably get to put you on the prelim card because of who your name is. But do it the right way. 100%.
Exactly. Like everybody has to, everybody's like, well, these people paved the way. You paved your own way in the sport. Like, yeah, people did it, and they cut their teeth and did their own path. We all have our own path. We all pave our own way. Like, yes, there's people before us, but there's going to be people after us too, but they're having to pave their own damn way as well. So for me, it's like, we're not discrediting Allen's accomplishments throughout his 40+ year career.
Mhm.
But there's like piggybacking on Tim, people are going out there spending their money to travel and compete and suffer, and you know what I mean, to hopefully get on that stage and get recognition.
Right.
Why
And
are we
right
going to
now,
put
yeah, and right now, East versus West is doing it a great way to give you that platform to do it. You just got to show up to their tournament, and you're already on the YouTube,
Right
being right
there.
there on the main stage. So like the path is written, and if you don't want to go out there to all these tournaments to test yourself, just show up to an East versus West in the States and perform, and you're already going to be on that stage, and they're going to look at you, and you might get a match from that.
Yep,
So
100%.
put it to you this way: we don't know when the next EVW is coming to North America. If it does, it's probably gonna be, I don't know, maybe Vegas, Chicago, Toronto, wherever the fuck. But
Well, we do know the next two minimum are going to be in Europe, because you have February with Levana Vitali, and there's also going to be Vitali Devon in
yeah,
March or April. So you know the next two are going to be there. So if you are North American, all right,
Mhm.
this is what I would be thinking. You know the next event's going to be May, June, right? You know it. Start
It,
planning for it.
yeah,
Make wherever the hell that event's going to be at, go make a statement.
yeah.
Travel there. Go there and be like, I'm going to run everybody over my clock. You got 6 months. You got
Mhm.
6 months to save. You got 6 months to train. You got 6 months to prep. Why? You have no excuse to not be there. Like,
We should be making this a 500, 600, 700 entry tournament to prove that we want to be on that main stage. For an example, and why I say that is that's what they're doing in Europe. They want to prove themselves, so they're going like what Swiss Open had how many?
over 1,000.
Yeah, and Vienna's going to have, I heard, over 750, if not more. I heard it's going to be huge. And so they're showing out because they want to show the hard work that they did, and they want to try to make this stage. Why are we not doing the same? Why are we not lining up at that door to have 700 plus entries into this tournament, just
Yeah.
a shot to be on that
So,
main stage on Saturday to perform?
so I want to address that last part that Benji says. For a legend match, he doesn't need to prove himself anymore. I agree. He doesn't need to prove himself as a Legends match. But if we look at the last Legends match that they thought was a good idea, Cobra Rhodes got whitewashed. It was not close because we didn't know Cobra's level when he came to that match. So for me, if you put an Alan Fisher on there with somebody that you think is a comparable match, not knowing Allen's level, and he just gets stonewalled and whitewashed, does it do anything for Alan Fisher? No. You need to know his level leading into a match so you can try to put him with a comparable opponent. So it's actually going to be a valid, very good match. Otherwise, you're just kind of like, eh. You're just kind of throwing darts at the board blind and hoping they stick.
And I'll agree with that, Benji. That yeah, they should have him as a special guest, maybe in North America. Of course, I agree with that. I can stand by that.
Yeah.
He deserves to be a special guest somewhere for sure.
I don't disagree with that at all.
It's not our
I just don't like throwing him into a match with another legend.
Wait, I got. You know what? I got the best answer for you, Benji. You work for East versus West. You make this happen. Why are you asking us? We're just some dumb fucking podcasters over here having a good time drinking coffee. You tell them.
I'm drinking tea, buddy.
You got more ball than all of us, big guy. Come on,
Well,
Benji. Come on.
Okay,
Benji.
so can I piggyback on what Nathan was saying and what Tim was saying about, hey, when those events come, East versus West tournaments happened 3 times this year. You had the Chicago one,
Yep.
you had Atlantic City, and you had the
Arlington.
what?
Arlington.
Arlington, and did Colorado have one?
Yeah. 4.
Okay, there's 4. So listen, 4 goddamn times.
Arlington had 400 entries. That was the biggest one of the year.
Right. So think about that. Arlington, Chicago, Denver,
Colorado.
And then Atlantic City. So 4 different times this year in 2025, that you had an EVW tournament the night before the big event. So why the fuck are people not showing up? And then, and I'm not getting on everybody, but
my
to get
thing
back to
now
what you
is
were saying.
But to my thing now is knowing that EVW is doing this secret match thing, possibly for every event. Possibly, I didn't say they are. I said possibly moving forward. That's even more incentive to get your ass out there and compete.
If you want to be on that stage, though, right? That's if you want to be on that stage.
And that's everybody, men, women, everybody. There's literally, like, if you want to be recognized, you want to be noticed, these are your opportunities. Figure there's 8 events, right? That EVW said they're doing 8 events in 2026. You can easily assume minimum 3 of those are going to be in the US, 2 to 3.
Right.
So if you know, like, I got a chance to be there, if you're an arm wrestler and you're serious, let's put it that way. If you are a serious arm wrestler and you're not content with just being, and I'm going to say it, a backyard arm wrestler, your ass needs to be at one of those tournaments. And if you're not, you kind of need to shut up because you're not doing yourself any favors.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can just bet on it that at the end of June, there's going to be one in the United States. Bank on that.
So with that being said, everybody, let's get into shape. I know it's December. Let's start getting into shape and start, that's if you want to be recognized, like Nathan says, if you want to be on that, stage, like Tim said, and here's another guy, the secret match thing is for the known names, but that show up and make it to be the finals. Now, there was some, I heard there were some discrepancies with that, and we can touch about that or not. They won't just select random people they never heard of. And to many people know about that now. So
you know what though? You say that. Okay. I'm gonna address it really quick, then you go, Jody.
Yeah.
Robert Baxter stood in that damn tournament room in Atlantic City and watched for hours. Cezanna Babayev stood in that room and watched for hours. Hours watching people arm wrestle.
And they had 2 people sitting front row to watch. So I believe it was a collective of like 6 people who got to pick that, between a referee, 2 people sitting there, Shazana and Robert.
So for saying, oh, they won't randomly select, how do you know? You got to try, but you're my thing is, like, you're kind of already making excuses to not do it. If you're going, well, they're not going to pick me, I have no chance. Well, you're kind of making an excuse. Like, show up and show out, be entertaining.
So let me ask you a question. Does it necessarily mean that if you were to win your weight class that you'd be selected? Because I heard some people won first place, but they didn't get the nod, but somebody else did who didn't win first. That's just the rumor I heard. I don't know. You guys were there, so, and I'm talking the 105 class, maybe.
I know that I went to sleep.
105.
Pork Chop did win 105.
There was like another, like, it was some, who was it? What hand was it? I can't remember what hand it was. But did Paul Cruz win take first place in one of his classes, or second?
Second.
I think he took second left-handed. I don't think he took second right-handed. I think he took second left-handed to Alex Topral.
Well, we can look. Hold on. I know they posted in airs.
Meanwhile, Wyatt says, I think so many people are afraid of losing. However, if you never lose, you never learn or know what you need to do or to work on. Even if you don't come close to winning a tournament, you now know what to do. So there's some truth to that, But yeah, this sport that we know and love so much can, make people, like, God forbid I use the D word, delusional, but.
So Paul Cruz took second, both arms, both at 231, left and right.
Okay.
So, and then 253, Pro 54, Logan won right. I didn't even see. We can talk about that after, but.
So James says, unfortunately, it was predetermined. I do know from Robert's mouth. So I guess that's where I was going with that. If it's already predetermined, then if I'm reading James right, he's probably saying, why go through all that if it's already predetermined? If I'm reading James right.
Yeah.
Ooh, James would be happy to talk about that in After Dark. Ooh.
I hear you.
I'm just saying though, it's one of the biggest stages you're going to get all year in North America, arm wrestling wise. It is. You're probably going to get some of the best competition there all year. There's a few events where you're going to get the level of competition you're going to get at an EVW thing. Why not do it?
So he says Paul actually got first right because Porky was taken out of the tournament.
Maybe that's how they're doing it.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know. God
This was the
forbid.
first one, so we'll see going forward.
Yeah, you
Time will
can't.
tell.
I mean,
That's interesting. Then he goes, he did, but didn't get the opportunity to pull again because Porky was taken out for for his match the next day.
Yeah.
So
maybe that's how they're doing it. I don't know.
So I guess the question would be the $1 million question that, okay, if I win my tournament, even then, there's still no guarantees that I'm going to be on that, bonus match the next day on the big card, on the big stage.
So
yeah, there's no guarantees.
Who did Paul pull on Saturday then?
I'm asking y'all. I wasn't there. I'm asking y'all. So,
yeah, because still there was a first and second that pulled on stage.
Right.
No.
But maybe Porky just looked that dominant on Friday. They wanted a super match out of it.
He was looking really good. Looking real good.
So
he looked like, I saw Porky looked damn strong. So.
I don't know. It's on Alex Topro's channel. So, well, I will say this though. So James, because where do you put James at? James, what's he, 250?
He pulled the 253 class.
Okay. So
and he got
James, how he
I
finished?
think I saw he got second both arms.
Okay. So at a tournament like that, James has been, turning some heads. So where were James? Let me ask you a question, sir. Where do you see yourself and what tournaments you got coming up? Because he's been on the show in the chat, my channel, Ryan's channel. He would love to have a match with so-and-so, this, that, and the other. Where would you put him at? So if I'm Tim Talmadge, since, of all the people, you're the promoter in this group. I just promote once a year. But if you're like the promoter and you help some big events, would you ever have James, Mr. Big Game James Clark, on one of your cards? And if so, who would you have them go against? Relatively speaking.
Yeah, me and James have talked about it before. I think James he's up there. He's only climbing. He's dealt with some injuries, and he's coming back from those, and he's making really good progression. I've told him before, I'd love to see him at 242. I think he could bang with the best down there. As far as for who, not sure yet. I mean, I did have a couple people in mind. I got
somebody in mind for James. You pull left hand. I got somebody in mind for James. Don't say nothing, Tim. But I got somebody. I got somebody in mind for him.
Can I say something? Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Then I want to say no. Say something. Finish your thought, and then I want to.
I'm about to get I'm about to get fired up. Let me get my Gatorade real quick. I'm about to get fired up.
I'll go first. Can I also say like everybody? There's been a lot of this, and I'm not picking on anybody particularly, but I'm generally speaking. These people like, oh, I want a match. I want a match. I want a match. And they're like, oh, I'm going to talk to this promoter, this promoter, this promoter. If you want a match that bad, get your damn pocketbook or purse out, whatever. If you're a man, your wallet. If you're a woman, get your damn purse out and say, I got this much money. It says, I will lay waste to you. Like, stop relying on promoters to make matches for you. You are your best mouthpiece. Like, we're in the social media age. Get on there, call your damn person out and say, I got $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000. It says, I'll stomp you next Saturday. Like, you want to make a statement? Go out and make a damn statement. Stop relying on everybody else to do your legwork for you. Stop relying on everybody else to be your mouthpiece too.
I was reading James's comment there and took him out of the finals match with I don't know. It's Dubin, whatever his name is.
Oh,
Uh,
Dubon.
How did you guys stack up the first time you pulled to be the A side? Curious, because I don't remember watching it, so I'm just curious. I would imagine you pulled A side, and they pulled him off of the A side finals for the A side finals with Porky, and that's what they called the match. So, how was the A side finals? And there's some top guys for James to pull. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
We've definitely talked about it. I think he is coming to Arizona State next year. I'm excited to see if he pulls 242s, how he stacks up. But no, there's for sure some guys in there, for sure.
Eastern Washington, State or DC?
No, State.
Oh,
Macho Man wants to know what good tournaments, like good tournaments. Aaron, I'm gonna go ahead and say this, man. Like Washington State might have been a good one you missed, and you didn't make it. And no big deal. But let me get back to my question. Now, go ahead and I'll address Macho Man. So James, I got somebody in mind. How about Vaktan, the guy that sat there and won the Fatal 4-Way at Tim's event a few weeks ago? Legit guy. Left hand, legit guy. So there's one right there,
I was just say right-handed. I think right-handed near you, piggybacking off of that, James. I think you should pull Josh Miller down in Florida, right-handed.
Where's James from anyway?
He lives in Mass.
Okay,
but if it was me, and I'm looking at 242, I'm not looking at supers. James. I think you can make 242.
With a good with an water cut, he can easily make 242.
Yeah, left-handed. I don't know how you stack up against like a Daniel Price, a Passmore, something like that. Might be a good match. And right-handed, I would have to say, even a Passmore or a Josh Miller, someone like that. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think those are both good matches, right and left, Passmore.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's the way to. I think that's really good. Either Passmore or Daniel Price on the left for sure. Even a Wilton Brock.
Ooh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah. I think we're looking at. I think we're on the same page of what we're looking at, Nate, and I agree with that.
There's a lot of good options for him at the 42 class.
And I speak on, and when I look at these two, like. I want you to come to my event. Just know there's no super matches at my event this year besides maybe one. And that would be about it. But everybody's pulling the tournament. There's going to be elite people in that 242. I can tell you that right now. From who I know who's coming, it's going to be stacked 20-plus people. It's going to be pretty big. And Vaktan will be there. So he's ranked at number 5 right now. So there's going to be a chance for people to get their hands, and some rankings will be shifted June 6th. I can guarantee that.
Okay. Yeah, it will. Yes, I will be on vacation from June 1st through the 7th down there.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
10-year anniversary, people. What's that?
That I'll probably end up being at that one.
There you go.
Yeah, your crew comes too. It's easy for you.
Oh yeah, I'll have to cut a whole whopping 2 pounds right now for the 80-kilo class.
Yeah.
Ooh, just don't eat. You'd be all right.
I could probably make 54 if I wanted to do a massive water cut.
Right.
Pull Joseph.
Well, actually, I don't know. I got to see what's going on in Australia around that time too, because I may be going there for a match.
Oh, it'll be cold that time of year.
That's fine. I like cold.
Maybe shit.
It's not like that cold.
And they'll all be over here.
Not all of them.
A lot of them.
So at the end of the day, gentlemen,
Jamie might be over here that time of year.
So can we agree that,
God damn it,
with these tournaments and, people want to prove themselves, and even Courtney Hike made a statement, and I agree with her. You just got to show up. I mean, I understand. It all depends on where you want to be. From what I'm hearing from James, he wants to be on that stage. Like, hey, I'm putting in the work at these tournaments. I want to be on that stage. Okay, just show up and show out. but I think he has this distinction that, you know, if everything's predetermined, why should I waste my time doing that? I'm guessing. I don't want to, I'm guessing that's where he's coming from.
Well, I understand that, but maybe this was a one-off. Maybe we don't know. Right? We don't know what it's going to be like moving forward. Right.
I also just speak one more time about this. I get that he's a little heavy right now, but James, coming to East versus West, try to make that 231. I think you will shock a lot of people coming to 231 and get noticed a little bit more. It's one of those things where I truly believe we treat East versus West as an international stage. And what I mean by that is we pull heavier in North America. But
I was getting ready to say something about that.
On an international stage, we got to think one below, if not two for some people.
But I was literally about to say that.
Think one below when it comes to these stages, in my opinion. And maybe on one of these in 6 months, try to make 231 and see what happens. And come shock the world.
Yeah. To piggyback off that, Tim, I was actually having that conversation with a buddy of mine that goes to WAF Worlds all the time. He goes, every North American pulls the wrong weight class. They do. Mm-hmm. Everybody pulls a minimum of one weight class too heavy. Minimum. Some people too, like you said. Like Joseph. Joseph walks around at 154. He can make 43 at WAF Worlds.
He plans to next year in India.
For me, I'm 75. I walk around at 180 and I cut to 165.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this: why is it? Why? I mean, that's fucking true, but why? Why do you think that is? North America,
because the weight classes have been. Oh, okay. So this might piss people off, and I don't care. I just really don't. To me, the weight classes have always. Okay, well, there you go.
Okay.
Oh, that. Like I said, I didn't see the match, so I can't really say yes or no. But if that's the case, awesome. I feel like North American weight classes have been tailored to the every man arm wrestler, the every woman arm wrestler. You know what I mean? Like people just want to show up and do that. Because if you think about it, 76 to 98 is 22 pounds. 98 220 is 22 pounds. But when you go to Europe, every 5 kilos is every 11 pounds. It just is. That's the way it is. And unfortunately, here in the states of North America, like we cater to people that just show up that want to do this on weekends. You know, Europe is taken far more seriously than it is here in North America, like 100 times more seriously.
I'm going to piggyback off of that because I've changed my mindset, and this reflects exactly what you're saying. Now, and I get change weight classes, all that, right? This is my thinking now. When I pull in North America, I may pull 220s, but I'm going to be 212. I don't care that I'm 212 pulling 220s anymore. I really don't, because I still feel strong and fast. But I want the easier cut from international, the 209s and the 198s. And I would rather pull up in North America and pull stronger guys and heavier guys and be ready for my big one when I'm ready. And so like for you, if you walk around 235, pull 234, pull 242s, but you're still within reach of that 231 where you're going to be on a bigger stage. So like leading up to Worlds next year, I'm probably going to walk around 205, 200, right? But I'm still going to pull 209s and 220s to get ready for that and see where I'm at. Because
it's the same thing for me. I typically walk around at 76. An 11-pound weight cut is nothing.
Yeah. And I also truly believe that like a lot of people in North America cut weight for a medal. And I realized this last year. I'm done cutting weight in North America unless it's worth cutting weight. I'm not cutting weight to go to Texas State, Arizona State, whatever it be. I'm going to pull where I'm at, right? But if I'm going to Worlds, I'm cutting weight. If I'm going to a big money tournament, I'm cutting weight. If I'm going to East versus West, I'm cutting weight, right? But let's stop worrying about cutting weight for a fair tournament or
Right.
Nothing. And I mean, super matches, yeah, I get it, right? Like you're cutting weight for a ranking match. I get it. But that's where I think that people should shift as well of worrying about cutting weight for what?
Well, let's just look at the Arm Havoc event that just happened over in Germany, like the tournament. People pull. I mean, there was a lot like Fia. Let's use Fia as an example. Fia goes and she pulls that. She always pulls the heavier weight classes. She just does, and she walks around at 70 kilos. Catalina is a 60-kilo puller, but she pulls 65 at Worlds.
It just makes
Like-
you better. It really does. At the end game, it's only going to make you better to pull, walk around a lower weight class and pull heavier. So when you do go to Worlds, if you do, or you do go to an East versus West tournament, if you do, whatever, you're going to be ready for those guys that make a big ass weight cut and come in the next day super heavy. It's not going to matter anymore.
No.
Weight's going to be out the door because you're used to it and you're ready for it and you're stronger for it.
And honestly, I know this may sound counterintuitive, but like when I was 190 pounds and would cut to 176, I feel stronger now walking around at 176 than I did when I walked around at 190. My body just adapts, and like all the weight I move now is heavier than when I was heavier because a lot of the weight I was carrying was just fat and water.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of it depends on what the actual athlete themselves. Like, it all depends on what do you want out of this. Do you want to be on the big stage? Then this is the route you got to go. If you want to just be a tournament puller, then that's the route you got to go. So whatever, it all depends on the athlete. What do they want? What aspirations? Do you want to be on the elite stage? Do you want to be WAF? Do you want to be IFA? Do you want to just say, hey, I want to, we can tie it back into Alan Fisher. What does he want? We don't know what he wants. I mean, yeah, we can recommend him do that. But at the end of the day, what does he want? That's what it comes down to,
Mm-hmm. It leads up to the earlier days, right? Of like, and I get it. It's easier to talk about this guy because he's a lightweight guy, right? But Corey Miller, he's always been a lightweight guy. But how Corey Miller got so much stronger and better, he pulled supers and 42s and 220s. Like, he challenged himself to pull all these guys. So when it came to his weight class, he fucking killed them, right? And when you
and I know
when you run into a bigger hand at 176 because you're a 176 guy, you're used to that bigger hand, right? So that's why I just say, and James, that's great that you stopped cutting weight for these tournaments. That's great. That's a good mindset to have. Now get that weight down there and do it. And pull these guys where you were, right? So imagine yourself at 231 pulling yourself at 253. Can you beat yourself at 253? That's how I look at myself. Can my 209 body beat my 225 body? If it can't, I got to get to that part. So that's how my mindset is. Can you beat yourself at that weight class? If you you can't
exactly
get to the point where you can beat yourself at that weight class.
Well, it's exactly what I was just saying, Tim. Like when I weighed 190, could my 176 body now beat the 190? Easy. Like I know it can because I've adapted to it and like I'm stronger now. Like, and
I'm living through you youngsters. Macho Man says I'll be very lean and very mean 198 next year. I can guarantee you that, or that's just a plan at least. So, a whole year, Macho, Washington State, it's December. So, but what the hell are you going to do between now and then? Now? I know you got to have at least a couple, tune-up tournaments to kind of see where you're at,
Like me right now. It's the holidays. I'm heavy.
Yeah, maybe hit an Idaho State, maybe hit the LLD, maybe hit, I got one probably later in the year in Wenatchee, hit that one, and then come in ready.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a Canadian invasion coming to LOD this year. I'm telling you, tell you that right now. So just know there's going to be some Canadians rolling in to Redmond, Oregon this summer. So you want to test yourself, come on down, But yeah, it's just I get where James is coming from. If that is true about things that are predetermined, I'm sorry it went down like that because it sounds like James had a legit gripe, and James like, hey man, What's up? I don't want to sit there and waste my time or energy to go to this tournament to get an opportunity to do that. And I do what I needed to do, but yet everything is already set in stone. I don't want to waste my time. So I get where James is coming from if that's the case, you know?
Yeah. And I get it too, right? Because he was in the finals with him, but he already had a loss against him, right? And he set up here. Maybe it wasn't close. Maybe false start. I don't know what it was. You know what? I get it. I've been there. Mm-hmm. I thought I was getting calls and I didn't get a call. When I kill some people, they got a call, right? Leave no doubt. Next time, leave no doubt. Be on that A side, maybe. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I get it. Maybe you got screwed. I don't know. But
we've all got screwed before. I know I have.
Let's leave no doubt. But it's like when I used to coach baseball, I played baseball. Let's not leave it up. Let's not leave it up to them. Let's leave no doubt. Let's not leave it in the umpire's hands. If you give them no doubt, there's nothing to leave in their hands.
June 6th, right, Tim? Arizona State?
Yeah.
So, big game, James, Macho Man, wherever, Benji Mack, come up June 6th, Arizona State. Where exactly in Arizona?
Chandler, Arizona. 15 minutes from the airport.
There you go.
Oh, for Arizona State?
There you go. Yep. Make sure you make it there because it's 10-year anniversary, so there's going to be some studs and studettes there. So that'll be a perfect time to train and make your mark. If you really feel like East First West is already got the seeds planted and they got their guys, if you really feel that way, then guess what? There was nothing better than you roll in the Armed Sports Entertainment and turn some heads.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there'll be a Latvian invasion again this year.
See?
Yeah. What was it?
And maybe I said a Latvian invasion in Arizona State and a Swedish invasion.
100%.
See, look
Canada,
at this.
Canada, Mexico, Australia, Brazil. It's coming hard.
Brazil?
It's going to be great.
You have a lady from Brazil coming?
I don't know. But there's a group of people coming from Brazil.
But I'm saying, if for me, right? If I know the Latvians are coming, you got a chance to pull Giannis at 80, and you feel like you're one of the best 80s, why not be there? If you feel like you're one of the best ladies in North America, and you have a chance to grip up with Fia, Catalina, Victoria Carlson, and you don't take that opportunity, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. You know what I mean? Because you go there and, let's say you dominate Fia at 70 kilos, people are going to see it. You go there, you dominate Giannis at 80, people are going to see it.
Yeah.
And that's the whole purpose. For the ladies, don't even get me started. I'm going to have some ladies on my show later today, so y'all tune in. But
you're going to have the winner of the round robin on your show later, right?
Listen, don't start with me, man. Don't start with me because you pick one, I pick the other, and I'm sticking with that. And you're sticking with your, vote. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Who picked who?
He's picking Madison to win the round robin, the 160 class, and I'm picking Katie Marie. So
the 160 plus class.
Yeah.
Who's in these classes? This will be another day. When's this happening?
This is in April.
All right, we'll have a prediction show. We'll talk about it.
I don't want to do a prediction show. It's too early, but so much can happen between now and then. I mean, The ladies are locked in. The 160 class, now that, Lee Aaron's in there, it might shuffle some things. But want me to read to you right quick?
The 160 below and 160 and above.
Is Lee Aaron in the 160 below, or is she falling 160 above for fun?
Yeah, here, below. I'll tell you what. So here's the 160 class. There's 12 ladies in each, right? 160 class. Ursula Askey, Kelly Beals, Jessica Boss, Danielle Evanson, Amanda Marshall, Tamara Mitz, Jessica Potts, Bethany Ritchie, Pauline Sirkin, Leanne Wilson, Lucky Wood, Kim Wood. That is your 160 class.
Pauline, Leanne, Tamara's top three.
Yeah.
And then the 160 and over has Jolene Clark, Amanda Dyer, Kathy Facey, Frida Forrest, Lorraine LeBlanc, Madison Lynn, Tiffany Lynn, Katie Marie, Crystal Marr, Steffi Spencer, Martha Swick, and Merlene Valentina?
First is Madison, second Merlene, third don't know.
I'm gonna say Jolene's top 2.
Jolene Clark.
Yep.
And I'm gonna have Amanda Marshall on the show with Madison later today, 3:30 West Coast time, 6:30 East Coast time on this channel right here. So make sure you tune in. And I'm gonna get an earful because I picked Katie Marie and Madison was like, "Yeah, okay, thanks for the motivation. Okay, I see you." So
you got the winner coming on. It's fun.
Do I have the wrong Jolene? Do I have the wrong Jolene, Lucky?
Yeah, you're thinking about
it's not Jolene from Utah.
Oh, okay.
It's not Jolene Anderson. So
you know what? When you have these ladies on, this is what I encourage ladies in North America to do. Ask the ladies how Arizona State was and how many of them were there and how much fun they had.
Mm-hmm.
They got treated just like the guys, same medals, same award, same everything, free entries, spotlighted, and they showed up. I think we had 14 people per class. Like it was huge.
Right.
And I think it's going to get bigger next year.
And if you're me, you
Hey,
get
Tim,
assaulted by the Swedish woman.
Man. I keep telling all the ladies, look, with arm sports, I mean, we've been over backwards for the ladies, right? Oh, I guess he had a call. We've been over backwards for the ladies, right? To where it's like, okay, Tim's like, hey, you know what? Free entry. The same meals as the guys. Other, promoters like, hey, the same cash payouts as the guys, but they really don't show up as much. But for whatever reason, when it comes to the round robins, they all show up at one time, which is good. That if that's what it takes, that's what it takes, you know.
And this is kind of like what I proposed to the ladies last year who showed up. Like these round robins are great, I get it, right? But like, you could literally create a round robin at this event, right? You all are planning on be there. You're all going to get medals. You're going to be on the grand stage. If y'all want to throw up some money and have at her, that's what we used to do back in the day. Just, hey, let's throw up $50 on this. Winner take all. Let's have some fun. Throw it in the pot. Make it interesting.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because me right there was like, okay, it's exciting. Like this round robin, and I keep saying this over and over again, and I'll use Jocelyn as a example. Made her, I mean, she was still new in the sport, but when she beat, Sarah Bachman in this round robin that we're talking about, and it sent shockwaves, it was like, oh shit, because we all thought Sarah, she could not lose in North America, and she did. Then the following week, Jocelyn goes to MAC and beats Heidi Corder 3-0. So now that got her on a rocket ship up that way. Now she's on the elite level. So what I'm saying with these ladies, it could happen to you. It could. It all depends on, what you can do. Now, with that being said, every promoter is going to be watching, whether they're in person, whether they're watching on live. Tim, you're a promoter. I'm sure you're going to have your eyes on that. Ian Carnegie, you're going to be watching. You're going to have eyes on that. Maybe Bill Collins, whatever. They're going to be watching because the sports now evolved to where, social media, hey, somebody's going to be watching some way, somehow. And I'm trying to get the ladies to understand that, Some get it. Other ones are still kind of like, yeah, but like, no, fuck that. You want to get noticed, then show up. I know this one's locked in. There's another one in the following month, by the way, in May. But just show up. Say, hey, put my name in the hat. Because I tell you what, I would like to see what Courtney Hike does in a round robin. I would love to see that, and I'm sure the other ladies would love to see that too. So we're just going to have to wait and see is where I'm getting at.
Yeah, no, I mean,
there's my rant for the day.
It's looking good. It's looking good.
So other than that, Tim, you got 5 minutes so we can talk after dark?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for chiming in. It was a productive show. Tim's flexing. I'm flexing like an old guy. Okay. Just remember.
210 pounds this morning, almost at my goal walking around weight. Almost.
Oh, I ain't nowhere near that. I ain't never getting to 210. Never again.
5 more pounds, baby. 5 more pounds. I might even pull 187s at World next year.
Woo! There you go, man. Other than that, everybody, thanks for joining us on the show. Check back here, 3:30 West Coast time. Madison Lynn will join me. Amanda Marshall will join me. Ladies, especially, come on to the show. Join us. Have fun. Everybody else, we'll see y'all next week. Have fun.